Hello, this is Joe Sonona coming to you with Sonona Speak Seminars, and this is Coffee Talk with my special guest this week, Derek Hall, and we have a special segment for you. Right, Derek? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm really excited about this. This is my first time on Coffee Talk, and I'm pretty excited. I like it. I used to love Coffee Talk on Saturday Night Live, so now this is a great opportunity to actually fulfill a dream.
A little different coffee talk, if you,
A
I
little,
would
exactly, a little different.
say. Well, we're
Both with
here.
different accents.
We're here and we're making predictions for the real estate market for 2021. We couldn't wait any longer. So happy New Year, everybody. So let's get right into it. Um, what is going on? Like as of this broadcast, which is in December, we still don't
Mhm.
have an elected president. Or we do have an elected president, I should say. We don't have a certified
Right,
election,
exactly.
right?
Yeah, it's not
And
official yet.
politically, not to get political, but I have to get political because I just to put out there, what will be the state of our economy going forward into 2021, because what affects the economy obviously affects everything else: food, clothing, shelter,
Outdoor.
and then shelter. That's where we are.
Exactly.
You own a real estate school, and
Yeah.
I know you've done some great things in 2020 to bring free CE education to real estate agents out there, which is
Yeah.
awesome. But more
Yeah, I'm very
importantly,
proud
you
of that.
brought professional development, right?
Exactly. The way that I look at it is, like you guys have to take credits, right? You have to take classes to renew your license, but yet still most real estate agents learn on the job. That just doesn't make any sense. So
Correct.
clearly there's a problem with the classes. So I took it upon myself to say, I mean, I think I can do a better job at this. So I wanted to create better classes, make them more readily available, and make them free at the same time. And you've obviously been a huge help in that because especially with COVID, which I know we'll get to, you were the first class that I did virtually on Zoom. We did a class on March 25th.
Wow.
And yeah, it's just been going
I
off.
don't know
Going
about
off
you, but it feels like a lifetime ago.
right?
It really
It's been
does.
a career already.
When we went into quarantine this year, and I know we're going to do a recap, and then we're going to go forward with our predictions. But that was, I think, next to Hurricane Sandy, uh,
Yeah.
being quarantined, I had to become somebody else, and you
Absolutely.
had to become somebody
Yep.
else, and together and collectively, we had to raise some spirits of agents that are out there, and we packed them
Yeah.
in.
And you took the mantle on that greatly too.
What?
You took the mantle on that. First of all, you did lead by example. I mean, obviously you've been doing coffee talk, but then, making sure that you're out there attacking the social media, but then also your classes had such energy in them. And so people really, really appreciated that because they felt locked in. They didn't know what they could do, when they could do it, how they could do it. And I really feel like people look to you as tell me what we can be, and I
Oh,
think you handled
stop.
that so well.
You're making me out to be a Netflix movie or something.
A Hallmark movie.
A Hallmark movie. I'm getting teary eyed here. No, I just felt that it was an opportunity. Thank you very much to uh, not only help my fellow agents, my fellow colleagues in the business, but to uh, give them some hope, because I think 2020 COVID-19 just really tore our hearts out, cut our legs off.
Yeah,
Besides
sure.
the city of New York, or the state of New York, this pandemic order of do not call, which I think really pivoted, if you will, our business to what do
Yeah,
we do next. And I
exactly.
think that's going right into 2021, because if Governor Cuomo puts us on another shutdown, and
Looks like it.
real estate agents will have to figure out what to do next. And so we learned the world of virtual, didn't we? We
Yeah,
learned virtual
exactly.
this
Yeah,
and virtual that. We did videos in our homes, and
yeah,
a lot of people sold houses sight unseen to their spring market, and then
right.
the spring market began in the summer after quarantine, right?
You're right.
So, um, but you continue to do and are continuing to do virtual classes.
Yeah.
Is that because of COVID, or is that because you just figured out that people just don't want to go to class?
Well, it's both. It's absolutely both, right? Like the state, I mean, it's been so successful. The state actually gave schools permission to continue doing live virtual classes because before you had to get like expensive certifications and, have your own programs and everything like that just
Right.
to offer even a live class available online, like through Zoom. So they gave us that permission to do it temporarily during the lockdown. And I think there was such an overwhelming response to it that the state has already said, okay, this can continue. They're going to make some adjustments to it, but they're going to allow us to continue. And the feedback that I've gotten so far is the people love it, right? People love the convenience of being able to take a class in your pajamas, but have an actual person in front of them at the same time. And so it really, I think, is the best of both worlds because everybody wants to have a live instructor, but everybody also wants the convenience of online. So it really is the best offering available. And, as you know, like we've given credits to hundreds of agents, enough to renew their license, and they're still taking
Right.
the classes. So
From
they see
March
the value
25th, I
in it.
think, to May, I think it was the end of May, we gave 22 and a half hours of free CE, and then it continued.
Oh yeah, well, and throughout the summer, into the fall, throughout the fall,
If
and
you had a pulse,
yeah, right, exactly.
you took the test, you took the classes, and you could have easily wiped out your 22 and a half hours.
Yep, and it was fantastic, and people really gravitated towards it. Like I get messages from people. We love the classes. And I think also this, I really do attribute this to partly the format that we have, but then also to the instructors that I have. You are one of my lead instructors, and it keeps the energy up. We have sponsors who help make it so that the agents don't have to pay for it, which
Right.
is phenomenal. And they stick around for the class. They don't just show up for like 10 minutes during a break. They sit, they hang in, they contribute, they add in, and it feels social.
Yeah,
People
I
really
like that part because
at
at
that
least
part of
there's
it.
an inclusion there, and they
Exactly.
get to answer the questions live.
Yep.
And especially when I teach the class, I always bring the vendor into the
The
class.
trusted partners. Yeah.
Yeah,
And people really feel that because then they become trusted partners for the attendees as well. They get to network during the class because they get to see how these professionals carry themselves. And I think it goes a long way for everybody involved.
that's right. And I'm just thrilled with what we're going to be doing together in 2021 for
Mhm.
CE classes. Hopefully,
Definitely
we'll
more to come.
get some really, really good specialty classes there.
Yep.
Maybe NAR will recognize that charter school came through during the quarantine, so they deserve the licensing for more specialty
There
classes.
you go. See, that's a prediction that I can get behind.
Well, I predict that it might happen sooner than later because I'm going to try to make that happen for us at the charter school. And I think that as far as real estate education is going to be, people will continue to gravitate toward the Zoom classes,
Yeah.
and we will have that ongoing set of people that don't want to be in the live classes, and then there are people that will be in the live classes. And then the
Right.
grandfathering. Let's talk about the grandfathering.
Yes.
How there's
That's a
no
big
more
deal.
grandfathering or grandmothering anymore.
Exactly. Like all the changes that the Department of State made this year were very much in favor of real estate schools. So I can't really be mad at all. I mean, like allowing the virtual classes was just like the last great thing they did for us. Getting rid of the grandfathering, as you say, the removing that aspect that you don't have to take CE classes after a certain period just means that there's more students, which I would never say that you should stop learning, that there's ever a point where you know it all or there isn't more that you can learn. I mean, there's only 2 required classes, right? Everything else is electives because there's so much out there that is available. Why not continue adding to your repertoire? There's because going back to what I was saying before, just because an agent has had experiences doesn't mean they've had all the experiences. Agents only know what has happened to them. So there's always opportunities to add to your knowledge base and grow your business and be a better service to everybody around you. So I'm really happy about that. there are going to be some new classes. There's a new required class that's going to be starting in 2021, which the attorneys are going to be really happy about, because that's about legal cases specifically. So that's an interesting one, because it seems very open-ended. But they've done a lot for the education piece. And I think that probably goes back to the article, and that everything, the fallout from that kind of was blamed on the schools. The education was lacking. So they want to make sure that agents are getting educated in the best way possible, so that A, they're servicing everybody in the best way possible, and B, they're not, creating situations for the industry.
And this year we had the fallout from Long Island Divided.
Right. Yeah.
And that kind of also changed the way schools teach, and the instructors, they have to be to par with fair housing guidelines, and then it started a conversation in real estate, didn't it? It started probably one of the best conversations on how we go forward in our business practices, in our teaching practices. I think 2020 was an enlightening year. A lot of people look at the gloom and doom of the year, and I think that, the pandemic has changed a lot of lives in our world, in our specifically a real estate world, and how we do business. I mean, I never thought that in my life, and I always do this, and I know you always laugh, but I never thought in my life that this would be the way I would be showing houses, and holding a bar like this, and and I've done it before. I did it probably the whole year with these props of mine, but I keep these props nearby because I don't want to get COVID.
Exactly, it's true. It's got to be handy. I still remember the first time you did it, and I took the picture and I put it up on Facebook and Instagram for everybody to see, because this is what it is.
And I said, this is our new normal, right? I said, this is our new normal. And, silly me, I didn't have the booties. I hadn't had the booties at that point, but I have like a whole case of booties that I ordered 100 booties, and I still haven't used one of them, because don't worry about the shoes, Yeah,
that's the least of the worries, in all honesty. But that's where it is, and and I think it's important to lead by example, as I said before, that you do is like, this is what we're doing. This is how it's going to be. And so get the mask, get it branded, put your logo on it, and keep it moving. It's just that simple.
We've had many conversations about COVID. We've had many conversations about agents at open houses, how they have the paperwork also, I feel, doubled this year.
Absolutely.
With all these other
and everything.
forms that we have to use. The Fair Housing Forum was born in June, and it's New York State Fair Housing Forum. And guys, I'm talking to the audience out there. If you don't know what we're talking about, you better get going with your new year, because you still have time. You still have time to make your New Year's resolutions. Make this a New Year's resolution to get versed with your forms and fair housing forms, your COVID-19 forms. I feel like I'm all formed out. I counted 31 forms on the sales. If you're going to take a listing, it's 31 forms and 19 pages long for the rental.
That's crazy.
So that's soup to nuts. I'm talking about start with a customer and end with a client, and a combination of both listing and customer. So
well, you did something right if they followed with you through all those pages, right?
Well, people say to me, "Oh, you're in this and you get your commission." They don't realize how harder now it has become for a real
and that's formality.
Oh, it's crazy stuff.
But I mean, just think about this: how well the industry has responded, right? I mean, we're talking about a huge scandal, a racial scandal, and a pandemic, and the industry. You're talking about, again, new paperwork, new classes, changes, and the industry has not been grumbling. The industry said, "Yeah, let's do it." That's kind of the amazing thing is, you're not hearing a lot of people complaining. You're not hearing the grumbling. It's a matter of, okay, this is how we do it, and let's go.
It had all the makings of a perfect storm, didn't it?
Right, exactly. But the industry responded very well. I'm impressed. I'm really impressed. I mean, look, we even dragged real estate agents into the digital age. Real estate agents
Oh
are
yeah,
using their computer. They're
the
online making
technology.
videos.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's crazy. Nothing but good has come out of it.
So the 2020 end was a Thanksgiving that with limited amount of people,
Like
a
none other.
governor who extended a do not call order for agents,
Yeah, yeah.
and I think people just kind of woke up to the fact that they need a plan B,
Yes. Yeah.
right?
I would agree with that. I mean, because this is definitely going on way longer than any of us thought it would. And it hasn't even been an upward or downward.
Oh, oh, you lost your little Wi-Fi there. I think it's you who lost the Wi-Fi
Potentially
today
come down the
on the classes. You went all the way up and down a little bit.
pipe.
But I think it's you who lost the Wi-Fi for Stefan before.
Yeah, but
It wasn't his, it was your
on
Wi-Fi.
the strings, you know.
Yeah, it has been an up and down cycle, and nothing has been really, finalized, if you will, for a lack of a better word, on vaccinations, safety, what really is the effect of this N95 mask, how much can it really take? I mean, everybody, I feel like all the medical experts walked out of the room and we all walked in and became the medical experts.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Facebook makes everybody an expert on everything.
Well, and how many times did we say to each other this year in real estate, I think I had COVID. I think I had all the signs of COVID.
Oh, almost everybody I know swears up and down that they've had it, test or not. Everybody's had it.
Right. And I'll just take a brief moment to acknowledge that it is a serious pandemic. People have died on, from this, and either, with complicated precondition situations. I mean, I just feel for those families, and I did want to take a moment to acknowledge that if you're not out there practicing safety, start practicing it and save a life, especially Derek's and mine. Because we're walking out there, we're trying to make a difference.
Right? I mean, you can take it seriously, but don't take yourself too seriously. Right? I'm asthmatic, so it's very important to me to not get this. And so I've stayed in as much as humanly possible. Have I taken the odd meeting I probably shouldn't have? Yeah, but I'm always cautious. Right? I always have my bad. I always have my. Say again?
Do you take vitamins? Like, do you take the vitamins that so to speak, build up your immune system? Some people would take
like the emergency and stuff like that.
Well, I take elderberry at night with my family.
Elderberry, okay, yeah.
We have this ritual: take your elderberry before you go to bed, and then I take vitamin C, B12, D, zinc, and I think that's it. I think I take 4.
I can't take a lot of vitamins. I don't. I'm really bad about that.
I felt that that was necessary to build up the immune system, because I've been hearing a lot about
allergy medicine.
What?
For me, it's just the allergy medicine. This is my lifesaver.
Yeah. I mean,
at least
a lot of people should be taking something to build up their immune system to keep free of these germs. I have a friend, Tommy Daddario. He believes in elderberry. He's on Instagram here, and he promotes elderberry. So I do believe you have to take something. So
I agree with that, absolutely, because our health is important, right? I think I remember it had been said that if Americans in particular lived a healthier lifestyle, it probably wouldn't have ravaged the country in the same way. Because of course there are people that are going to get COVID and are going to survive, but many of the people, I don't want to kind of paint it with a broad brush, but there are people that if they were healthier before they got it, may not have died from it at the same time. So there's definitely something to that we could be taking better care of ourselves in general, and really should be.
Right. And when I'm a real estate agent, you're a real estate education director for a school. And so, we have seen on the other side, even the carelessness of our industries,
right?
And we say, come on, guys, wake up and do something. And, and I think we can't do enough for what we do, but America, you can do a lot more with what you have, and that's simple readjusting, realigning your habits, right? Your habits.
Exactly. You know,
learn only the good habits. As
I was just gonna say. I was just gonna say. You're always saying it.
I said it before you did.
There's good habits in everything.
I said it before you did.
Right. Exactly. And you should, right?
So now, we're gonna hopefully have a declared president in the next couple of weeks.
Right.
And
but I have to say, everyone is telling me don't plan anything for January 20th. I really feel like everyone knows what day is Inauguration Day, and everyone wants to know what's going to happen. It's very much a thing.
I don't know. I don't know about January 20th. All I know is that on January 20th, I'm still going to be a real estate agent, and I still have to help people no matter what, no matter who, right? So I'm thinking that the economy is going to stay very, very solvent right up until the end of, I would say, July, August.
Really? I would have thought sooner, but okay.
Well, I was thinking that if there's a new secretary, if there is a new treasurer, Yellen, is that her name?
Yeah, we know who it's going to be.
I think she'll move the interest rates just a little bit, because you can't stick with these low interest rates, no matter who's up there.
Regardless, you just can't hold for very long.
Yeah, no matter who it is, you can't stick. I mean, I'm thinking the Federal Reserve chair. That's the one.
Oh yeah, that's the real power. Yeah.
I was thinking of Yellen as the Federal Chair Reserve, but I was thinking more so that the Federal Chair Reserve, that's the one who's got the power, right?
Right. Yeah, it's definitely not going to be Steve Mnuchin. So.
No, definitely not. But I think whoever it is, or whoever comes out and says, you know what, interest rates are going to go up, I would say the end of July, August, and I certainly don't want to take from my friend Mr. Yoon at the National Association of Realtors. Lawrence Yoon is the great economist, the chief economist for NAR. But I predict that in 2021, interest rates will stay at an all-time low because, real estate is the third wheel that moves the economy,
Right.
And I think
it's not true anywhere else more than in New York City either, right? I mean, real estate is the lifeblood of this city. And
Manhattan. If you want to hear my predictions for Manhattan, I think that the empty real estate, the commercial real estate especially, will get repurposed, and half of it will go residential and the other half will stay commercial.
Interesting.
Because of the housing shortage.
Well, that's a possibility, because I know for me, I think back to, right after, to go back to another catastrophe, after 9/11, you had a lot of the big box stores that were like, forget it, we don't want to be here. So the commercial landlords broke the spaces down, and then you had a lot more smaller boutique places moving in, and Manhattan was very boutique-y for a while. And then years after, the big boxes are like, all right, we're back, and then it just kind of exploded
again. So we
again.
can see the resurgence of the mom and pop?
Again, that all depends on the landlords, but I think that's where the smart money is. Because look at the office buildings. You have technology companies talking about, stay home. So you have a lot of companies that are not willing to bring the people back to their offices. And so the offices, I think, are a bigger problem probably than the stores, because people would be going to Manhattan to work in the offices. So that is really what I'm curious about.
I have to tell you, I missed the Radio City Christmas show. I missed the tree lighting this year. I miss all that stuff. And I hope that there is a way to return back to the city. And I think that the infrastructure definitely has to improve. There's 17,000 empty listings right now.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's the worst it's been over almost 14 years, I believe.
Yeah, so I think that a lot of people will continue to work from home with some sort of, again, this word I keep using for commercial, for basically just about anything, the repurposing of real estate.
Yeah. There's going to be a lot of people working from their new home office, going into 2021.
I'm one of them. I'm one of them. This is my new home office, and for me, it's been a real eye opener and a game changer. It really is. Yeah, I love it.
Exactly. And so that's what I mean, I think that's probably the biggest reason why you're seeing people shift away from the city. I mean, the space has always been an issue, but like for that, that was usually like, okay, we'll go from Manhattan to Queens. We'll go from Manhattan to Brooklyn. Now it's like, forget it, we're going to Long Island. They want that extra room that's going to be the office and that or that workout area or the extra playroom, the yard, all those things. And that's really what people want. And they're going to continue wanting those things, especially if the offices don't open up early, I think, in 2021.
Do you think
So
you'll continue to see people move out of state?
in New York for a little while, yeah. I mean, because I think there are a lot of people just holding out hope that they'll go back to the office if they haven't already bought a new
Right.
place. But I mean, eventually, what else are you going to do, right? I mean, people are still paying rent in Manhattan, and their way of life is not the Manhattan way of life. There are people that are going to stick it out, but I think you might have to wait for when the offices reopen and it becomes New York City again, where you're having the influx of students coming into work and rebuilding the Manhattan lifestyle and culture back to what it was with the new blood. It might have to come down to that.
Right. And what about the restaurants that, in 2020, we have seen restaurants go out of business, restaurants holding on by a thread. Do you think that with Governor Cuomo's latest mandate for the restaurants, do you think that they will continue to be so large, or do you think they'll be opening up the smaller type of eateries?
Well, it depends, right? I mean, I think, again, Manhattan is probably the biggest place that's going to be an issue. Like, for example, where I live in Astoria in Queens, it's always been a delivery neighborhood, right? So
Right.
aren't really, I don't know that the business has changed too much for them in that people are going to be ordering on Friday night and Wednesday night and throughout the week anyway. But in Manhattan, yeah, where you have these kind of big, especially these expensive eateries where people just aren't going in and dropping hundreds of dollars on expensive alcohol and expensive food and things like that, those places are going to have a problem for sure. And again, the landlords don't want to hear it, so I don't know that. I mean, yeah, it definitely has to do with the lockdowns, but I think the landlords have to act like they understand what's going on at the same time as well. I mean, because if you kick out a tenant, who says that there's another person looking to open up a brand new restaurant in the middle of a pandemic? You
Right.
know, so
That's a
I don't
hell
really
of a
know
risk if they do. It's really a big risk if they do. I mean, anybody with a little bit of a brain knows that
Right.
this is a big risk. Especially if you don't have a shelter in place for what happens next if you go into another pandemic mode.
Exactly. I mean, right. I mean, we learned a lot from the first one, but that's the only response we have at the end of the day, too.
The delivery by the window. That was my when I see those restaurants, and I was like, you can't have more than 10 people in an establishment, more than 20 people, or 25% of people.
Capacity, right,
I have a friend here in Island Park. A big plug for Island Park, New York, Jack's Pizzeria. Josephine's. It used to every Saturday night you would see a whole crowd of people in there eating, and now it's down to half its capacity.
Right.
And they're making the money on the takeout, and
it's a big change for a lot of these places.
Yeah, business has been, it's not the same. So how does somebody like that change their way? How does somebody like that repurpose their way? I know for what we did in real estate, how we changed our methods. Do you think that all of these people have to change their methods and operate from the plan B?
I think it's difficult, right? I mean, because restaurants don't have a lot of recourse. I remember I listened to an interview with a restaurateur. This was a few months ago, and he made a good point that, and I'm not even trying to say anything political, but his point was that if there was more leadership from the top with regards to a response, that restaurants could have actually played a bigger role in the handling of, for example, feeding people who couldn't afford to eat. Because I don't know if you remember, they were saying how like farmers were like throwing away food because they couldn't sell it to the restaurants because the restaurants were closed. But if they had made some temporary changes to the laws or to the rules, the restaurants could have, for example, operated somewhat as like food pantries, right? They could have continued making food either for free or at lowered prices. If they, for example, had been subsidized, probably would have been able to be free, that they could have continued getting produce and meat and things like that, making food, maybe not, top end food, but they could have been making food to feed people. So, I mean, there is a world where that could have happened, which leads me to believe that there's still a world where that could happen. If things continue in a downward trajectory, that is a possibility. I think, I mean, if this guy could come up with it, I'm sure that there's somebody in another position, in a higher position in the government, maybe the incoming government, that sees that potential. So, I mean, for me, I think that would be a great way for the government, for the restaurants to not only have a plan B, but then do some good for their local communities, because there's people hurting everywhere. I mean, there are a lot of people that are still have their job, and good for them that they can work from home, but there's a lot of people that are out of work. And if they can go to a restaurant, pick up breakfast, pick up lunch, pick up dinner for their family at free or super low cost, I mean, that's huge community involvement there. So that's the kind of thing that I would love to see.
Well, I hope you're right. I hope that prediction does come true, that this does happen, and things will never come back to normal. I hate to tell people that things will never, ever come back to normal. Oh, I see your son in the background there.
Yeah. He couldn't hold it anymore. He couldn't hold it
anymore. He's predicting. What is he predicting for the future?
You don't want to. He just said the condensed milk tastes like rice pudding.
It really does. I have to tell you, it really does.
Thank you. That's a lovely contribution. Since we're talking about food, right?
You have a lot. I don't think nothing will ever get back to normal.
Right. Yeah.
When somebody says to me, I can't wait for things to get back to normal, I say to them, I don't think anything's ever going to be normal again, no matter whether it has a hint of normalcy or not,
Exactly. Because it's no matter what you think normal is, it's never going to be that, And so the term new normals come into our life and into our common usage, and I think that's just what we're going to have to deal with. There's going to be a new normal, but it won't be what you thought it was before. Like that whole saying, like you can't go home again, right? It's just that this world has changed.
It's true. Look at the travel industry. How hard hit it has become. My brother-in-law, my sister-in-law, they're used to cruising. People who are used to cruising. I mean, that has to be like the worst hard hit of all travel.
Especially because the ships early on that actually got it, right? I mean, who knows what would have happened if you didn't have actual cruise ships with COVID on board, right? But yeah, forget it. I don't want to say it's done, but it's had a hugely negative impact on that industry in particular.
So what do you think is going to happen so I made the prediction of the interest rates going up. And then what do you think is going to happen as we get closer into the first 3 months of real estate? Are we going to continue to see this high buying, and agents out there, please stop with this. The market is on fire. The market is hot. Oh my God. I heard it before in Stephanie's class, and I was sitting there going, I totally agree with you. Stop putting out that. They're putting out such a distortion, and I said, if the house isn't priced well, it's not going to sell. That's what do you think is going to continue?
That's not market knowledge,
Oh, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, the way agents are out there putting out that distortion. But what do you think of what do you think is going to happen as far as the high buying, the feast of famine? I think it's
going to continue. I would have to say I think it's going to continue, just for the fact that I have an actual personal example. Like I have a brother that lives in Buffalo, and he's got a house that he's looking to sell, and that house found a buyer in a week, in the middle of December, which I think is, that's for me telling, right? Because I think most people just assume that, and to some degree rightfully so, that the industry kind of ends at Thanksgiving, right? Like people aren't doing a lot of buying and selling at that point. But you're talking about Buffalo in December, and people are buying houses, So that for me makes me think that there's something more going on. There's more to come.
For sure, where the people from downstate are fleeing upstate. The people, they're either going upstate this way, they're either pivoting up, or they're going across to Connecticut,
Exactly.
or
Yeah.
they're going
Connecticut's
across
benefiting
to
a
New
lot.
Jersey, or they're leaving entirely, going to Arizona, Florida,
Florida,
California, wherever they're going. Nashville, Tennessee, I hear has been really booming.
Exactly. Right. I heard that from
I
Sam.
have friends all over the country, and even
Yeah.
in Canada, they're booming with low inventory.
And yeah, I mean, I think, it's not even just New Yorkers leaving. People are continuing to move. I mean, this is a national issue. And so I think it's definitely going to continue in the state of New York, but it looks like it's going to be the way everywhere. I mean, I can't really speak for the way of life in other places, but like, I think if you're in a city, you are seriously consider moving adjacent to that city, period.
Right.
I think that whole city lifestyle, because like that's why you want to live in a city, right? The nightlife, the restaurants, the being packed in tight, like those are all the things, the trappings of a city, and all those things are affected negatively now. And so there are a lot of people that are like, forget it, I'll take the space and the comfort and the relaxation. I'll take it now.
So speaking of the being packed in, I'm thinking of all these places, and I started at the beginning of the program with food, clothing, and shelter. Clothing, like we just saw Lord and Taylor close after so many years.
Right.
All these places, and Amazon now being investigated for monopolizing and antitrust laws. And I mean, I didn't realize I was a secret partner, or what do they call that? A secret investor of Amazon.
Yeah.
All these Amazon bots coming up to the house every day,
Right. Well, like I personally, I'm an uber capitalist. I'm very, very liberal, but I'm an uber capitalist. I think if you're going to sell it better and cheaper, you deserve to win. So like I was never an anti-Walmart guy, even though like we're in New York. I've never really been in a Walmart in New York. I used to go when I was in Nashville. But like if you're a Walmart or you're Amazon, you're doing it right, and good for you. And not to say that I don't care about the companies that go out of business, but if somebody's doing it better than you, they deserve to succeed.
Yeah.
Now, like your big box stores,
or if you have a product like coffee, for example,
yeah,
you shouldn't shake in your boots because somebody's going down the street and opening up another coffee shop. There will always be a demand for quality and quantity of things that are the same, as long as your product is served best, right?
That's the thing. As long as it's up to par, somebody's gonna want it, right? Like people like the deli coffee that's like still 50 cents, right? There's always gonna be somebody that prefers that.
I don't know why it gives me diarrhea. I'm only kidding.
Like that stuff is barely coffee.
50-cent cup of coffee. Do you think you're getting a quality cup of coffee there?
Exactly.
That will pass right through me.
Right. That's what it does.
Well, I think this has been really great. 2021, here we come.
That's right.
Vision, as friends of mine at the Real Estate Educators Association, vision beyond limitations. I think we have to set a vision for ourselves that we can do just about anything, and we can overcome these types of I don't know, what do you call these types of things that happened in 2020?
Met the challenge, and the people in the real estate industry are very resilient, and I respect that quite a bit.
Yeah, and that's a good way to end this. We become and we continue to become, and we shall become resilient to the obstacles that get thrown in our way.
Exactly. You always do a better job.
Yeah,
always.
Local, national, international. We're all connected, and sending a message of hope and prosperity for the new year.
Exactly.
This is my 10th. This is my no, not my 10th. It feels like my 10th. It's my first year on celebrating Coffee Talk, and you were one of my last guests for the year, Mr. Derek. So I just want to thank you very much for being on the show. And I ended up getting this mug this year, as a celebration of. Yeah, I said, wow, Coffee Talk is here to stay. As soon as I took my 50th guest, I said, this is time to get a new mug.
Exactly.
I just want to thank you. This has been great, and I think
Thank you
we'll
for
come back with the start of the new year. Who knows?
I'd love to come back.
Revisit this. How's
This is
that?
great. So
We'll
you just have to let
do
me
a
say
little-
something.
we'll
Say,
do-
let me give you a topic, and then I'll be happy.
What?
You just have to let me say at some point, discuss amongst yourselves. I'll give you a topic, and then I'll really, really be happy.
I don't think I can play that part of a Saturday Night Live, but that was a good skit. That was a good
That was
skit.
good. I love it.
So
I really appreciate it. This is great. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you again for coming on the show, and thank you to all our viewers of Coffee Talk. You heard it here first, our predictions for 2021. This is Sonona Speak Seminars, and this has been a special segment of Coffee Talk predicting 2021. Thank you, Derek.
Have a great one. Thank you very much. Have a great one.